Hi, welcome to Vicky's Cooking Show. Today we have a 3-course meal planned out, and all 3 dishes are inspired by the Mediterranean region, and our dishes include chicken shawarma, tabbouleh, and apple olive oil cake. The first thing we're going to get started off with is our chicken shawarma because we do need to let our chicken marinate. So while it marinates, we'll start on the tabbouleh. So let's get started. For the chicken marinade, we're going to need a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of paprika, half a teaspoon of turmeric, a teaspoon of red pepper, and 2 teaspoons of black pepper. All these spices are going to be tossed into the bowl. And a fun fact about turmeric is that it actually is an anti-inflammatory spice, so it can help people with arthritis to relieve their pain. And we also have 3 cloves of garlic chopped up here. That's also going to go into the marinade. So there goes that. And then we have 4 tablespoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice into the bowl. And half a cup of olive oil here. That's about half a cup. We're just gonna kind of mix it up together. So we're gonna go ahead and give them a soak in here. I'm gonna toss them around, get them fully coated, nicely seasoned. Continue that with the rest of your chicken breasts, which is 3. There's gonna be 3 chicken breasts in total. All right, and we're on to our last chicken breast here. And all these spices are really strong. You can smell them. They smell delicious. It's gonna be a good plate. All right. And wrap them in plastic wrap and let them marinate in the fridge for about an hour. And be sure to save the rest of your marinade so you can pour it over when we actually put it to cook in the oven. All right, there we go. So that's gonna go in the fridge for about an hour. Okay, we're gonna get started on our tabbouleh salad. So the first thing we wanna get is our parsley, which is about 2 cups of fresh parsley and half a cup of cilantro. We're gonna go ahead and finely shred it in this handy dandy shredder gadget. So we're gonna do that. So that looks pretty shredded there. The next veggie we're going to be adding to our salad is going to be kale. And kale actually helps lower cholesterol. So that's really good because that lowers your chances of getting heart disease. And heart disease, sadly, is the #1 killer in America. So now we're just going to finely shred our kale. Just like we did with the parsley and cilantro. For our kale, parsley, and cilantro, we're gonna add some fresh mint leaves. So I'm gonna go ahead and shred those up in this little mini shredder I have here. So, just like that. And you just wanna wait till it's finely shredded like the rest of the ingredients. A little bit more. That should be good. Just gonna go ahead and be careful with the blade because it's pretty sharp. We're gonna add that into the rest of our green mixture. There it is. All the parsley and cilantro especially, so it smells really good. One thing I do want to mention is that we did let all our leaves dry out and we ran them through paper towels to make sure all the water is absorbed because we don't want our tabbouleh salad to be soggy. So as I'm running my fingers through this, you can kind of see that it's pretty dry. It's not really sticking to my hands. So the only water in here is from the leaves being cut up. Now that our parsley, cilantro, mint, and kale are finely chopped, we're gonna throw in some tomatoes. I diced up these tomatoes and threw some salt over them in order to absorb the tomato water, which happens through osmosis. So we're gonna go ahead and pour some in there because we really want to avoid our tabbouleh being soggy. We want it to be a nice spongy salad. So there's the tomatoes. I have some scallions, green onions chopped up. I just chopped up about 2. So here I'm gonna throw in some bulgur wheat, and bulgur wheat is a whole grain, which is really good because it contains all the dietary fiber it's picked with. So that's really good for your digestive system. I'm gonna go ahead and toss that around now. I'm gonna make sure you get every ingredient incorporated in there. So now we're going to add in some freshly squeezed lemon juice, just to give it some flavor. Get that incorporated as well. So after you're done kind of stirring it around, we're just going to add the rest of our seasonings. So we have some freshly cracked black pepper, some salt, and a drizzle of olive oil just to keep everything nice and smooth. Just stirring it around, get everything incorporated, and your tabbouleh salad is done. The tabbouleh salad is covered up and I placed it in the fridge, and from there I grabbed our marinated chicken, which has been in there for an hour, so that's perfect. So the first thing we're going to do is place it into this tray. You want to grease it with a little bit of olive oil at the bottom just to avoid the chicken from sticking. Just like that. And then you might want to get a paper towel to kind of just spread it around. Coat the bottom. You just need a thin layer. We're not trying to fry the chicken or anything at the bottom. Just avoid any major sticking. That should be good. Just going to go ahead and place the chicken breasts in there. There's 1, 2, and 3. And we have our oven preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, so as soon as it's done preheating, you just throw it in there. On the side of the tray and on top of the chicken, we're going to toss some onions for added flavor. And all the spices and marinades smell really good. Can't wait to eat it. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss those around. Just like that. And the onions on the side can be plated with the chicken for added flavor. So we're going to go ahead and drizzle the remains of our marinade on top. And on the sides, season the onions as well. I'm going to go ahead and spread it around. For our chicken shawarma, we are also going to prepare garlic sauce. So we're gonna have 6 cloves of garlic into the blender, a 1/3 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, and 1 cup of vegetable oil, lastly just a sprinkle of salt in there. So I'm gonna put this in the blender and we're just gonna blend it till it's completely smooth. Now on to our last recipe, which is apple olive oil cake. The first thing I already have prepared is diced apples. Now, they're coated in blood orange juice. You can definitely use regular orange juice. I just decided to use blood orange because I freshly picked them from my tree this morning. So they're here coated, and we're just gonna let those sit. The next thing we're gonna prepare are the dry ingredients. So I have 3 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. So we're gonna throw that in the sifter. I have a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of baking pepper. So we're just gonna sift that all together. In this bowl, we have a cup of sugar and a cup of olive oil, hence olive oil cake. So this bowl actually goes into an automatic mixer, which we're going to take that over to. And while it's mixing, we're going to crack in these eggs one by one. The wet ingredients are done being mixed together, so make sure that when you do it, it's really smooth, that the sugar is dissolved. So you want to do the olive oil with the sugar alone for at least 2 minutes, and then add in the eggs and mix for another 2 minutes. So when you're done with that, we're going to create a pit in our flour, just like that. Now, this is a really dense, thick cake, so this batter is not going to be runny like your typical cake batter. It's very thick, as you'll see when we start to mix everything together. And make sure that you have your oven preheated to 350 degrees while you're preparing the batter. We are also going to start adding in the apples. We'll start off with a little bit and add some more as we go. And with this mixture, since it's really thick, it might be easier to work with your hands. So feel free to do so. As you can tell, I already did as I was working with the batter itself. After the apples are incorporated into the rest of the batter, I got a glass baking tray here, and I lined it with parchment paper to avoid any sticking, and poured in the rest of the batter. And now we're going to put it into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes. I sliced down the chicken, as you can see here. I also heated up some pita bread on the side for the chicken. Here is the garlic sauce we prepared. Pop that right in the middle. So that's what you usually eat your chicken with. And I'm gonna add a nice serving of our fresh tabbouleh. So there's our plate. Everything that we made is good to go. It's ready to eat. And while we eat this, our apple cake will continue to cook. So by the time we finish, it should be ready to go and dessert will be served. Our apple olive oil cake is done. Now we're just gonna add some powdered sugar to the top, sifted, just for a little decoration here. And there you have it. Now all you have to do is slice and serve and you're ready to go. Thank you for watching my cooking show. I hope you enjoy.